Women are so fucking cool.
Women are so fucking cool.
Well, guess what, everybody? I get to do it again. I get to talk to another fucking cool woman. I'm really so honored and grateful that I get a chance to meet every one of these women that I'm talking to because each one of them is just inspiring me, encouraging me to keep doing what I need to be doing. And I know they're going to do this for you as well. So today we're talking with Carole Hodges. Hello, Carole.
Hello, Joanne.
I'm so grateful you're
So
here.
great to be here.
Good, good. Well, good. Well, then we're just going to jump right in because I want to just get to the nitty gritty of why we're here. It's to under talk about fucking cool women. And the first question that I love to ask is, what is your definition of a FCW?
A fucking cool woman is, first of all woman. In other words, fully understanding that the depth of being a woman, whether you're a mother or I find we may have mothered other people's children or businesses, but we do have, even scientifically, our brains are structured differently. Our right brain and left brain with the corpus callosum can talk to each other at the same time. And men, often they still have a corpus callosum, but they can usually either think or feel, but not both at the same time. So we have a hidden superpower. And so being all women means using that, not denying it and saying, let's be the same as men and think harder. No, I believe that right now, fucking cool women are the ones that are going to reach out because we begin to understand that there is a shift in the frequency. And as we as women learn to up level the frequency and that higher frequency of understanding and love and caring, we will change the world. And it will not be in the same way that men do, that top down. I believe we're in for a wild ride because change is just flowing in like crazy right now. Uh, some people are afraid of it. I say it's just change. You're not going to stop it. So, how do you ride the wave with it? How do you ride the wave and have fun and raise the frequency so that in the end, this world will be different. 20, 30 years from now, this will be a different world. We can't stop it. Technology, politics, there is so much discussion just to bring everything to awareness. And this is a time for fucking cool women to step out in our strength, in our femininity too.
Yeah, I really do. I'm 100% agree with you as well. And there's many definitions, but it's so powerful to recognize that it really things are changing and we have so much opportunity and potential and we just have to step into it. And that again is why it's so important for us to recognize that we need each other. We need,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I tell you, the older that we get, the more we need each other because women is well known, very often outlive men, and we are often taking care. But what we need is really other strong women around and friends and supporting each other, community, building real community around us.
right, definitely. And as FCW, we're very, inclusive to all, all women and all fucking cool women. But also I think, the ultimate what I love about the conversations I'm having is as feminists as well as women who believe in equal rights for all people. That is where respect, encourage, celebrate is for all people. And that's where I really do feel like the work that women do, the businesses that they start, and when you talked about earlier, it's not top down, it's bottom, going up. That is where I think women are a little different than men, not it's stereotype. There's some great men, but ultimately it is a little different in how we operate with our businesses and our organizations that we choose to run.
Yes. Yes. Some people have compared it to a spiral, and that women tend to look at everything going around. Now, yes, that could be just repetitive, but when you have direction of going up, the circular and going up creates a much stronger structure than just an arrow. And so looking around at everything that's going on, as well as building, because we have a new world coming. I've got a background in technology as well, and I love some of the new technology that's coming in, what it's going to make possible. Yet at the same time, it can be used for good or bad. Just because there's technology there, just because now we can talk to anybody around the world. Look, we're not even in the same area. We've never been in the same room. And yet we have built community, and we have built a relationship. Imagine what that is making possible. Your world would be so limited if you, and yet now we have both. And it's important to see what's directly in front of us in our own environment, yes, and to acknowledge that the whole world is connected. And that is a new thing. That is really, and the thousands of years of humans being on this earth, this is darn new. So, of course, we're going to bump into new situations. Of course, we are. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing because we are growing exponentially. And as women, we understand. We watch children grow. Growing is part of life.
Yeah, no, I think that is so, yeah, it's so true. Women, we do know we know the process of growing and birthing. We understand that that's innate in our bodies, whether or not you have a baby or not. But mothers for sure totally understand that, which makes them so powerful. And I also, when you were talking about how we're connected to so many people, it is really interesting how I've met so many fucking cool women online that I have stayed in touch with, and it's really powerful, and that gives us even more strength in numbers, knowing that there are women everywhere that we can lean into, tap into their energy, whether you physically know them, your physical space with them, or whether you even personally know them, because when you listen to these other women on this podcast, you're going to feel connected to them as well, because we share that collective consciousness that, we believe in the feminine, Yeah. Yeah. Share with me some of, fucking women that or that you admire.
Well, I have to tell you that it's genetic with me. My mother was a fucking cool woman. She was born in the 1920s. She went through part of the Depression, and she went to college when no one in her family had ever gone to college. She wanted to be a doctor. She was told during the Second World War that she was taking a man's space. That was the environment in which she stepped out. Now, what did my mother do? She had a mind of her own. She was engaged to the president of a fraternity. And then she met my father. And she gave back the ring. And what you have to understand is I am always amazed at my lineage, because my father was a cool looking guy who had kind of a Cary Grant sort of a twinkle in his eye. And he was a high school dropout. So my mother, the UCLA graduate studying to go on to be a doctor, married a high school dropout. And I'm sure my grandparents must have been so excited because the first time he came over, he had just gotten out of the service and he was really nervous at meeting parents. So he had been drinking a little bit before he got there. And he drove into the rose bushes and parked in the middle of the rose garden. So just a minute. Now I'm a mom and I'm just imagining if this was my daughter, how excited would I be that my college graduate is introducing me to a high school dropout and he arrives drunk and drives through the rose garden. So that's was the beginning of how I got started. And I was the first child. But I always amazed. It's like, how did these two people ever come together? How and why? And it's taken me a long time of looking back that I kind of get it now. Because my mother, her whole life, talked about what she had done, and many people thought she was a lifelong career woman. But in fact, she left her job at Children's Hospital when she was pregnant with me. So in my entire lifetime, I did not know her as a working woman. However, what I did see that my dad, who was the kind of guy that everybody would love to have at a party because he'd keep everybody laughing and engaged, what he did is, and excuse me, my apologies.
Uh-uh.
I will go back. But so my dad, who is always the center of every party and people love to be around, left to his own devices, I don't know that he would have accomplished much. But he did have my mom, who was letting him know, that he'd better deliver. He began working with General Motors. He then had an auto dealership of his own. And later on, after a bankruptcy, he went into insurance and sold insurance for automobile dealers. He found success in his life. And I think it was a little bit of the pushing of my mom. And because of the difference in my parents, my mother was taking it for granted that I would want to go to college, that this would be for all of her kids. And my dad said to me, I don't see why a woman should go to college. They just grow up and have kids. So what happened in me, having heard that, was just a sort of an, I'll show you, I'm going to do that. So I made sure that I got good grades. I was really very, very driven because I knew none of this was to be taken for granted. I was going to have to earn it. And I decided I was going to. So that was the part of being a fucking cool woman. And I'm the oldest of six. And on the wall behind me, this is a needlepoint that my mom did, but it's indicative of my philosophy to this day. It says, one ship sails east, one ship sails west. By the self same winds they blow. 'Tis the set of the sails and not the gales that determine where they go. I love this because it is something to remember. We have a lot of gales going on in our society and for women, but it's the set of the sails. It's what you have decided within yourself. It's what moves your heart. It's you living the life that you love. It's you finding your purpose. That will determine where you go, regardless, regardless of the gales, set your sails. And now you probably have some idea why I call myself Life Change Navigator also, because that's what it's really about. And that picture is actually a boat that I learned to sail on underneath the Golden Gate. And your life is in your own hands. It's a very visceral feeling to get in heavy winds and know that you need to shift and you need to change, and yet it's the wind that's moving you forward. So that's spirit. That's the infinite moving you forward. So that's a little bit about one fucking woman who I can say really changed my life and the life of my brothers and sisters too, because we are all independent people. We have suffered a number of gales, every single one of us in our own way, and have come out resilient and move it forward.
I love it. I love it. It's yeah, moms, fucking cool moms. Yeah, I love that she went to college so early on. I mean, that we thank her. All the women who've gone to college, we thank her for making that way
Yeah.
happen. So, and we're still, we're still we're still paving the paths for future women, our the young girls. We're still paving it for them. We're always here for future generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And things are changing. It's when I went to college, it was an expense, but not like today. Something has just gone haywire because you could start your own business if somebody just handed you $150,000. Imagine what you could do. So it may not be for everybody anymore, but still, we're going to have lifetime learning. You will never stop learning with everything that's going on in technology. Like, think of what it takes to learn how to use your cell phone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's not even a cell phone, it's a smartphone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it's smarter than we are.
Yeah. No, so true. Oh my goodness. Yeah. What you just said also about not everyone has to go to college. It's all about choice. We have more choices than we've ever. We can choose. We have the right to choose how we want to design our life. And
Yeah.
yeah.
How you want to design it, where you want to be. It's it's become a smaller world.
Yeah.
So location you're in is not where you're stuck forever. You have complete choices, and the biggest thing is learning how to use them,
Yeah.
how to go inside and use them. And I tend to work with women from midlife on because you've had some experience. Honestly, if you'd have asked me, when I was young and in my teens, well, I had a little bit of an idea, but not much. Just did not know exactly what I wanted to do. I've always admired people who really know that right from the get-go, because some people really do. But I was one who didn't. And I learned along the way. And I've come back to some of the things that I learned right in the beginning. So interest in people and writing, it's like that's what lifts me up. And I figured that's mine to give. And I love that you are doing art and other things. And I think the first time we talked, I told you it was just not my thing. From first grade on, they said it's time for art. Everybody get your crayons out. And people would get so excited. And I would say, can I write a story instead? Because that wasn't the thing that turned me on. And some of my sisters, yeah, they're wonderful with art. It's not my thing. But isn't that wonderful that you have an opportunity to learn what really is yours to do and to follow it?
Yeah, it is. It really is. Well, is there any one last words you'd like to say?
I'd like to share, actually, it's a story, but I think it's very telling about something that we all do. One time I was finished and I had just given a speech and I was driving home. And on the way home, the little voice in my head was saying, you forgot that part and you mixed up those two. And you know, that really wasn't very good. It was going on and on and on. And actually, I found it so disturbing. I stopped my car. I pulled over to the side of the road to have a discussion with the voice in my head and said, "Hey, look, you and I are together for this lifetime, whether we like it or not. I'm with you and you're with me, and you know, we're all going on in my head. But I request some things from you. When you tell me something I did wrong, well, guess what? I can't go back and reverse what already happened. So I request that you tell me, what can I do better next time?" And one of the things I find is that everyone has this voice. I was at something recently and so very surprised to hear somebody later in life who said, "I thought I was the only one." So I want to tell people, you're not the only one. You have that going on. When you begin, there's power in it if you take the time to notice what you are noticing and to work with that voice in your head, to recognize that there are some signals you may think are bad, you know, being nervous about something and feeling like you need courage to get to the next part. It can actually be a sign of growth. So, my final words are pay attention to what it is you're telling yourself. And there are better things to tell yourself. So, and I don't know if I'm going to add this little thing, but I started putting out an inspirational daily email because that's all about having the infinite have a little discussion with you. So it's infinite intelligence. The name of this is Soul Shine. Infinite intelligence talking to the little voice in your head on a daily basis to find the strength and the truth of yourself, because that's how we as fucking cool women make the world a better place. Find the truth.